guys, John here from Sick Fishing. Just want to do a quick video for you guys today. I went out today for a few minutes. Super snowy out. My lines were freezing up, so I figured I'd come home and do a quick video for you guys about how I find ponds, how I find new ponds that I haven't never been to, how I look at them, how I try to see if they are good or not, if these ponds are any good or not. This is how I try to see if any of the ponds are good, if they're full of lilies, if they're clear all the year long, if they're clear all year long, if this could be a good frog pond, or if it's going to be a good pond from bank fishing, or if it could be a good boat pond, anything like that. Yeah, so I went out today, and this is what I had to deal with. So check this out. Alright, so let's get into this. Let me show you how I find some of these ponds and find out if they're good or not. Alright, so first of all, you're going to want to start out with, I'm guessing, would be around in your area, your hometown area, and kind of work your way. So after you've downloaded Google Earth, I would suppose that you'd want to start close to your house, closest to your residence where you live, and work your way away from there so you don't have to travel as far. And if you're looking for new ponds, anything that may be around you, first thing you could do is go up and type in an address near your house or something to that effect. And once you do that, it'll bring you to around your area. I've already marked out a whole bunch of areas. All these areas, these yellow pins over here, these are all areas that I've already marked out for this year coming up that I want to try, that I haven't tried, and I'll leave little notes. But let me find a good example for you guys. Let's say I go to, okay, so let's say this pond in general. If you're looking at a pond like this, there's a few things that you're going to want to look at when you're approaching a new pond. Obviously, parking is going to be one of your main concerns when going to an area, if not walking, whatever. So look at parking, look at access around the pond. There's a lot of trees. Like, this pond has a lot of trees. It may be very difficult to fish. But one of the first things you're going to want to look at is how old the pond is. If you've never been to a pond, you don't know anything about it, you can go back on the timeline up here. There's a little timeline button right here. And you can go back on this timeline. You can look at different parts of the year. You can see how the pond looks in the beginning of the year, at the end of the year. Does it ever get lily pads? This pond particularly doesn't look like it gets any lily pads at any time of the year. There could be numerous reasons for that. I'm not sure why. Alright, so second thing you want to look at for after you've looked around and seen if the pond is going to be fishable for you. A good thing to do to see how the pond is, if there's any paths around it, is to go back into early fall, early beginning of the year when there's still like this, where there's no leaves on the trees, and you can look at see paths and stuff like that around the ponds. But one of the main things you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to go back to 95, or as far back as you can. Now this goes back like 20 years now, okay, so 21 years, and you can see there's still a pond here. So this is probably a natural pond that stuff got built around, but it could be man-made either way. If you give a pond about 10 to 20 years, it most likely has fish life in it, unless there's some kind of factor that's causing it not to have any fish in it. But most of the time, there will be fish in a pond that's over, 10, 15, 20 years old. A lot of the times, you can go from the side of the street view. If the pond is near a street, if it's close enough, you can just look, you can click on the street and actually go to the street view, and you might be able to see the pond from the street. But if that's not the case and you can't, you can double click on your pond and double click again or whatever. And now you can see it gives you kind of like a 3D imaging. So now you can see all the hills and like, okay, so this side might be a little difficult to fish from land. It's got big hills coming down the side. But when you go around, the rest of it's all flat. And there'd be a lot more area to fish, as you can see. So that's always cool too. I really want to try this pond. I believe it's a quarry pond or old quarry pond that's probably spring fed. It's all sandy bottom, you can tell. There might be some few rocks, like right here, there's a rocky shoreline right here, some riffraff. What's cool, and the water always stays that color too. that springy color. It doesn't look like a normal pond. Alright, so one other tip. I'm going to try to keep this video pretty short, but one other cool tip is when you're searching for ponds is if you put it in like May, April time, you'll be able to spot your ponds a lot easier. You'll be able to spot them and see them a lot easier on your map. If you look at this map right now, you can barely see any water. You see maybe some here, and that's about all I could see right now. But now watch, if I go to the beginning of the year, water, 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 you can see all this water now. So now you can actually find out where the pond is, find a pond that you maybe didn't know about, and like this, I'm not sure what pond this is. So now you can get to the, okay, so I see this pond, I have no clue anything about it, but now I can go into different times of the year. Okay, I can see that it's scummy. It's at one point of the year it's kind of scummy. So maybe that's a possible frog pond. I mean, it's very small, but you can tell by the size of the cars and stuff, it's not that big. So let's take a zoom in and see if there's hills around it. The next thing you want to do is to see if there's hills. You don't want to be walking down any crazy hills or anything like that. But it's pretty much basic forward. You just got to do a lot of exploring. And just use some of the tips that I gave you. And if you use the tips that I gave you, and you look around and you visit the spots and you try them multiple times, you might find a good honey hole and these honey holes might not be pressured really at all. And that's the cool thing about fishing these ponds. Alright guys, again, thanks for watching as always. I appreciate it. Make sure you leave me a comment below if you have any questions or you got something you want to say. Make sure you throw me a thumbs up if you like this video. Help support me. That thumbs up button really helps. Make sure you check out my other videos also. I have some interesting stuff. Not the best stuff because I started towards the end of the year, but I have some interesting videos, so check them out if you want. And also, don't forget to check out my links below. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.